It's really nice to see you again. Here we are at KPMG's ASPAC Tax Conference in Singapore. You're an international tax partner with KPMG in India, and just recently India had a lot of news about tax law changes. Tell me a bit about that.
So this is indeed a significant development. On 20th of September, through a tax ordinance, the government has brought down the tax rates. A lot of it was really to address the issue of slowdown in the economy. So this was some sort of a fiscal stimulus. At the same time, India found that its rates were not very competitive when you compared with some of the other countries. So what the government has done is basically reduce the headline rate from 30% to 22%. This is for companies which have a turnover more than 4 billion rupees. So essentially it means a 10% tax rate cut if you look at all in, with all the tax, surcharge and cess all put together.
That's significant.
That's significant. Companies which have a turnover less than 4 billion rupees, the tax cut is roughly about 4 percentage points. Another interesting development is that companies who are starting new manufacturing, so they set up an entity post 1st of October 2019 and start manufacturing before 31st March 2023, the tax rate goes down to 15%. So essentially this is an opt-in provision. So it's an election that companies need to make. And why this election? Because companies today also enjoy certain tax holidays, certain exemptions, special deductions. They have carry forward of losses, they have MAT credits. All of this gets lost if you go for the 22% rate.
Oh, so this, I guess that means it's kind of a modeling exercise.
Yes. So I think there are a few considerations if I think of it today. One is companies need to look at their own situation and decide whether they want to opt in or not. Also, the timing of this opt-in is going to be critical, because if you have MAT credits and if you have losses, you would rather wait for that to be offset and utilized. There are companies which are looking at new decisions, new investment decisions. An important condition is, should you set up a company, should you set up an LLP? There are foreign companies that are operating in India through branch offices, through project offices, which are currently taxed at 40%. And if you compare that with the lower tax rate now, companies might look at setting up a subsidiary in India. There are also situations where companies are operating through a tax holiday business and a non-tax holiday business in the same entity. So what do you do out there? And there are some anti-abuse provisions in the law as well. So an interesting mix of
gosh, a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff, yes.
So crystal ball gazing. Do you see anything else happening on the horizon?
So I think this is part of an overall drive. The government has a new tax code which has been presented to the finance minister. Now we don't know whether the tax code will actually see the light of the day, but some of these proposals are actually being introduced in the current tax law, and the tax cut is one of those developments. An interesting space which taxpayers would want to be looking at is whether the dividend distribution tax which is currently there, whether that will go away or will be replaced by a withholding tax, because that makes the tax rate far more competitive. As also what will happen on the whole dispute resolution space, which is a bugbear for all taxpayers today.
So this is a real watch this space then.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, Naveen, thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Rodney. Please do.